And while I'm busily doing tuners, I've just opened up another one. It's a Teac TX-550. Did I say that right? Teac TX-550. And yeah, a bit of a rusty top on this one. Where did I put it? And scratched. So not real nice looking on top. That might clean up a bit better, but yeah, she could do with a new coat of paint on that one. Don't think it says much else about this. Made in Japan. These are a pretty solid unit. I thought I'd take the lid off and have a look inside. I think I've already got at least one of these, possibly two of them. Though if there is another, I think there's a 500 as well or something. Something's different about the tuning dial. I think some have an aluminium one and less of these LEDs or something, but there's a couple of different versions. But I might as well check it out and see what's going on. It's just another one for the pile of useless tuners. Something's lit up by the look of it. Yeah. Just a display piece and nothing else. Really, I should modify all these so that they just have a low voltage into them to light the dial lamps up, and that's about it, rather than having them on, but there's not really much in there that runs anyway. So we've got amplifier, auto, mono, muting out, and I don't have an antenna. Bit. Well, this has got some pretty LEDs on it. So yeah, very busy with the LEDs. What do we got? FM, stereo, tuning and signal strength. So you see these little arrow ones goes you tune off, and the signal strength goes down, of course. FM stereo goes out. And that gives you exactly where you're in the right spot. It's also lit up. Don't know if that shows up very well, but the dial is lit up. Nice yellow glow there as well. It's not a bad looking unit really. This is, Teac made some pretty good units back then. These Japanese Teacs. We used to have a I think it might have been a CX-550 or something tape deck. And besides, I think the odd button breaking in it, because it had the old piano key type buttons and they would snap occasionally, I think. But other than that, yeah, they went well. So we've got two light globes, one each end of the dial. This probably hasn't had a lot of use if the light globes are still running in it. Nice and clean inside. It's got LA chips, HA chip, so, or LB as well, so they got the Sanyo symbol, LA, LB are Sanyo chips. HA's Hitachi, you got your little Hitachi symbol there. Quite an impressive looking tuning cap. Sort of then with some, they've actually used the case of it as a bit of shielding for some of the, I think that's actually on a separate module, yeah, it's actually got circuit board attached. It's more like a TV tuner where it's actually got a bit of electronics in the same sort of module. Cool tone level. Not sure what a cool tone is, but maybe they mean the pilot tone or something. FM detector, VCO adjustment, meter adjustment. A lot of trim bolts in this thing. Mother PCB. Separation adjust. That one doesn't say. VCO meter, pilot cancel adjust. On top of all your IF type things. So a rather nicely built unit. Again, looks like it's got a Sony TV type power switch in it. Ooh, is that a reefer? It's got a reefer capacitor in there, I think. Probably should snip that off and throw it away. But there is a reefer hiding on the back of that power switch. Just asked them to go up and smoke one day. Die cast sort of switch bodies. Doing on these toggle switches on the front, so they're a bit over the top, and we've got a nicely weighted tuning knob here, so yeah, give that a bit of a spin and it goes for a bit of a spin. So that was always a sign of a sort of quality unit, always felt quality. This one's not overly heavy, but it's quite nice, certainly better than just a plastic knob on there. but it seems to work. And I guess the other thing I should try is the AM. That sounds rather quiet. Muting out. Very quiet, but probably just needs an antenna on it. There we go.
Town is planning to impose a no-fly zone 150 kilometres north of the island.
Not sure what that is, I didn't know there was a channel even there. But yeah, that's all working. No need to do anything internally to it. Just wants to clean up and probably, oh, that's just a bit of grease on there. A little big scratch there. Shame it's so rusty, I could repaint it, but it'll be in a stack of other tuners, so I'll just make sure I don't see it. Make sure something's sitting on top of this one. But it should look rather nice with that front panel on it. And it doesn't even need that much of a clean-up, it's actually fairly clean other than the dings and scratches it's got to it. Bit of dirt around the power switch. Not surprisingly, a bit everyone uses. Those switches and the tuning knob's rather dirty. I think most of this will just come off in a quick clean. Shouldn't have to polish it or anything. But then again, you never know with these knobs, sometimes it's eaten in a bit. Yeah, it's got a lot of greasy muck on that knob. It's coming off though, so that's the main thing. And this should be a nice quick one, no lights to replace or anything, so you get lucky on some of them. But unfortunately, almost no value as a hi-fi component. I only ever buy them if they're under $20, because why would you pay any more for a tuner that nobody wants? And really the only use for them is as a display, which sort of saves them at least from going in the e-waste, because that's about what else would happen with them. I don't think many people are after them. But there are still people out there asking silly money for them like they're worth something. And maybe if they're a really good one or really modern one. I've even got a couple of those Sony FM stereo, AM stereo ones, which did cost quite a bit of money in a day, and they were an excellent tuner, but what are you going to do with them now? I guess I should really get off my bum and put new lamps, and I think they may need new lamps and possibly batteries. I think that's all that ever went wrong with those. The backup had like a watch type battery in there, CR2032 or something. Memory, since they weren't non-volatile sort of chips in those days. And yeah, the lamp behind the LCD display, and that was about it. But this one does look rather terrible. Another reason it really had no value to anyone. Who wants something that looks like that in their house or anywhere? And if you're going to have a radio in a workshop or something, you're probably just going to have a boombox or something, or an old shelf system. Not many people are going to bother hooking up a component system. But it's a shame, because these were a beautifully built unit. And there are some top quality ones out there. I've even got a Philips one that came out of, I think there was only 400 of the systems made or ever or something. Really over the top Phillips tuner, but again it only cost $20. I had no idea what it was at the time. I nearly didn't even bother buying it, and I thought, oh, it's a pretty cool looking one, I'll grab it. And it turns out it's quite a rare one, but I still doubt it's got any value to anyone much, because you'd have to have the rest of the system for it to go with, and they're as rare as, so it's still pretty much a useless one. I think someone's actually already spray painted this possibly, because this paint's just about coming off. Well, these actually, that's a good point. I don't think these originally were black coloured. Yeah, kind of thing. I think they were more a goldy colour like this under this paint. So this one's actually been sprayed probably. I wonder if I can carefully scrape any of that off. I think that is right. I think the other ones I got yeah, that's someone's dodgy home paint job. And it didn't stick very well either. Oh, that's a promising. I guess if you could strip this paint off. A bit of methyl or something to get it off. It's probably getting a bit of it off. Yeah, that actually wants putting in some paint strippers on it. Probably look alright after that if you got all this black muck off it. Although it does have rust there, so not much. It's probably why someone painted it, because it had rust and it probably was used in a workshop or something. But anyway, that's quite a nice looking tuner, that one. In pretty good nick. Front panel is, at least, besides the odd little dings on it. Okay, now that I've been on a bit of a tuner bender, I've got another one. This is an old Thorn one, a very rough one. I've already even cleaned this one. Got the worst off it because it was so bad. But it's got like a, almost looks like someone's hit it with a hammer on the top there. Something's round has gone into the top. It's only like chipboard rubbishy top on it by the look of it. These were a really cheapo system, I think. This is yeah, like that, more one of these mug's eyefall things, so to speak. There's lots of nice pretty lights, but probably not much going on. No one really home probably, but it mightn't be too bad. But yeah, just masonite case, El Cheapo Taiwanese or something, Hong Kong, I'm guessing one of those, Taiwan, yeah. So at the cheaper end of the market back in the day, but surprisingly durable, these things, and most of them worked well enough. They were cheap if you didn't want to spend a fortune on a top of the line hi-fi system, and they have lasted the time. Surprisingly, they, despite their seemingly lower quality, I mean, they're still better than some of the modern stuff, but they certainly skimped on the case, which is fair enough. I mean, most people wouldn't have cared. So we've got here a bunch of cables. Maybe I've already had this one to bits by the look of it. I may have given it a quick run because it looks like the cords have been chopped off. This would have had the original leads hanging out the back with the RCA, like a fly lead with RCA plugs on it to go into the next component to save on sockets basically. That was wrapped around the mains cord. That's your FM antenna. So I reckon I have actually plugged this in once before just to see if it actually went. Oh, there's the other little grommet, so it's definitely been in here. I thought it was odd there was nothing sticking out the back at all, but that would have been me. And I have no idea what I found with it. So we'll have to plug it in again and have another go. The knob needs a good clean. Other than that, yeah, she's got a few dings and quite a few scratches there that might come off a bit better. It is a pretty cheapo looking unit, it just looks cheap. If I've got one with an earth connector. Oh, well, I'm going to be naughty and not bother hooking an earth up on this, even though I probably should, just for safety reasons. But just while I test it, I just want to get an active and neutral into this thing and see if it actually runs. I assume if I still kept it, it probably did work. But I don't know, I just probably had a quick look after I bought it, if it wasn't outright given to me. Looking at it, but I can hear the power transformer, but I don't see anything else. But that doesn't mean it's not because we're not tuned in or whatever. What are we on? FM. Nothing lighting up at all so far. I'm not sure they would have had any lights to light the dial up in this thing. Oh yeah, we've got a, it is lit up. Oh, it looks like, yeah, look at that, I've actually put a light in there by the look of it. So I got that far. Probably to see what the dial looked like. Oh yeah, there's a light up tuner Don't know if you can even see that, but it is slightly lit up above that thing. Barely doing anything. And I say I would have had the audio hooked up to this at some point. Easy enough to get some clip leads on there. Not that I care that much whether it actually receives anything, but it's always interesting to find out. I say, even just for the sake of seeing whether these things still work at all. But it is surprising how long they lasted. Well, we've got hash there on one channel. So I'd say we've probably got to work an FM tuner at least. Oh, there it is. Clip lead's not real good either. Yeah, have we got oh, the FM's possibly that thing, isn't it? I've got to be careful what I touch here. And I definitely don't want that earth touching the mains. So I've got an FM light coming up, but no signal or tuning lights. Oh, perfect there. Depends where I put my arms. Oh, now I've got a signal light and a tuning light. Oh. Of course, if I lift it to the... If I touch the case, it goes out. You have to take my word for that, but we've got a green light and... I'll see if I can get an antenna at least capacitively coupled or something. As soon as I'm out, oh, you can see some of the lights flashing up there a little bit. Oh, there we go. Better turn that music off, I guess. So yeah, the mug gets a little bit of an eyeful of LEDs there. I can't hear a thing. Yes, that's all lit up. That's what that noise reduction system does. Oh, it actually sounds like it puts it in mono, but that's the mono switch. It actually takes out the high end or something. It's probably just like a Dolby switch, but for radio.
From the world, what I've noticed over the last decade or two is the importance of business.
So it's basically maybe cheap and nasty, but it's not that nasty that it stopped working. It's still going. All these years later, it's got that horrible smell to it of masonite. Lovely. Don't know why this Taiwanese masonite smelt so bad, but it always did. I mean, not that any masonite smells very good, but these units had a particular smell to them. Some of the old televisions and stuff were similar, but it seems to always be this hi-fi stuff. And the top of it is here, genuine chipboard. Oh, what do we got here? Someone's quality control stamp, 7926. Well, I doubt it was made 1970, but that could be something to do with the date. Might just be the production line. QC4, some Taiwanese writing, I guess. Chinese, but not call it that. The CCP will get me if I call it Taiwanese writing. T100. And did it have a model number on the back? I can't remember if I even looked at the model number. So model number 4055. Solid state FM, AM, FM, MPX, which I think is just multiplex. Stereo receiver. Power supply. So probably a Kmart special or something. No usable serviceable parts inside. Pilot lamp soldered in place. I guess, yeah, compared to the older ones where you actually had screw-in ones, like the old valve radios and stuff, and then they got rid of that. So people couldn't repair their own stuff, but you know, just to make it cheaper to make as well. Oh yeah, I've got that. Speaking of pilot lamps, I've got this one hanging here in the breeze. Well, it's not really it's not the FM pilot lamp, but it's the tuning dial lamp thing. I might solder that in. Looks like I've just twisted it together temporarily. Are they still twisted? I think they are. So how was this originally sitting, I wonder? Whoops, the light came out now. That'd be right. Oh, I see the leads were glued there originally by the look of it. Maybe I should cut that off and put an actual lamp in there. Might make even more sense. If that's one of those blue lead lamps, I bought that a long time ago. What voltage is it? Guess we might as well find out. I might just solder an actual lead lamp on there rather than one of these things with fly leads on it. I wonder if it's AC voltage. Yeah, it looks like you can see it's actually soldered right across here where the transformer comes up, which makes sense. Like I say, then you don't have to put a regulator, so it's a 6-volter by the look of it. Because, yeah, who wants to bother having heat and stuff coming out of some transistor or voltage regulator just to do that? Now, which ones are my 6-volters? These ones are around the right size. Can I fit a bigger one in there? No, I don't think I can. Okay, so it's one of those little green or weak lamps. And I guess I better put some heat shrink over that so we don't short anything out to the chassis. Get that tinned up and advanced. And might as well fix that. I don't know that I'll even use this, to be honest. I don't really want to look at this one much. It just unfortunately reminds me of cheapo systems. I don't know how they sort of made them look cheap, but there was a way they did. There was just a knack they had, and they're instantly recognisable. Sometimes even brands like Pi. Oh, this is a Thorn, isn't it? Well, that last one I looked at was a Thorn, wasn't it? Or was it an AWA? But a lot of these brands did put out good stuff as well as junky stuff. But instantly, as soon as you look at it, you can tell which one it is. Even if you've never seen the model before in your life, like I don't think I've seen one of these before, but it is kind of reminiscent of other systems. So I was thinking it was a Pi and Thorn and stuff of that era. Tended to be brands that got put on. Pi was like Philips's brand, and they used to put that on their cheap stuff. I guess after some of their colour TVs and stuff, there wasn't any point trying to pretend it was a good brand anymore. So I think Philips just put on their cheapo stuff, and Thorn I think became like the AWA Thorn. On the TVs it was basically the same thing still, but on hi-fi gear I think Thorn was kind of the cheapo, the Pi type version. But for AWA Thorn, I just put on their junkier stuff. Oh, get in there. Get in there when I didn't have the leads on it, and it stayed in there. It seemed to jam in there quite nicely, but oh well, I'll just put a dab of contact adhesive or something there. Pretty much what it had originally, except the lid's stuck on the contact adhesive, of course. It's glued itself shut. Let's just put a blob of that all over everything, just like they did in Taiwan. Big blobs of lacquer and stuff on everything. I'm surprised this isn't covered. That's the amazing thing. This is so old. It does have a little bit of green lacquer on the screws, but gotta remember some of the stuff just red lacquer all over everything. It's like the stuff was, they were getting paid to get rid of it or something. Getting paid by the leader to use the stuff. But I think that might have been part of the quality control even, just to, yeah, this does have green blobs everywhere. Maybe just to indicate that they'd checked something and gone over it, and there's a green blob there, so it's just, you know, like green nail polish almost. Now, this one's going to need a better cord on it. I almost feel bad wasting a whole power cord getting this thing going. Seems like a waste of a power cord, really. Almost better to sell it for scrap metal and get this thing going with it. Get rid of whatever that warning label was, don't need that anymore. Now I've got to go through that hole and hope that the clamp grommet, I don't know what the original cable was like, would have been very similar though. Oh, then again, that's, even the cord was cheaper on this thing, look, because that's a small cable clamp grommet there. Might just make it on a good day. Oh, now, where's the wire? They got it in these crimp things. Oh my god, what is this mess? What on God's earth have they done here? Instead of just wiring it to the switch, I mean, seriously guys, looks like these things were going out of fashion too. They were trying to get rid of as many of these crimp connectors as they could. So the earth literally goes to a soldered on chassis thing there, and they bothered to put that on it, so I think I'll just solder one on there. I think that just seems completely insane. Maybe it was because they were doing them to different countries, they thought they'd do all the soldering and stuff. There's usually a little bit of a reason for what they do. That can stay joined because that's just from the switch back to, but see, even the transformer's joined, doesn't go all the way to the switch. It's just an all-around messy job, I must say. But like I said, there might have been a good reason along the lines of, you still think they'd make the transformer go to the switch, but along the lines of different countries, so they thought, we'll solder that on and then we'll just crimp on whatever cable we need for whatever country it's going to, Australia or Europe or whatever. But that is a really kind of, you see it and think, what a, looks like a labour intensive messy way of doing things. But it could have been for some reason like that, I reckon. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one and be charitable. But it is odd to see things like that, especially in these days when most of this stuff you'd be trying to minimise the wiring down to nothing because it's just so expensive to put all this stuff in there. You've got to employ a factory full of ladies there to, on a production line, to do all this work. And you look at some of the work that went into these wiring harnesses and stuff, and it was a lot of work. And every bit counts. Every bit slows production down and costs more money. I don't think that's going to fit. That thing is just too damn small, that clamp grommet. I must have had a puny power cord on it, but I guess it was again all part of the cost savings. Surely it's almost like they had a single sheathed cable, a triple core instead of a double core, just to save that bit of plastic. But I mean, back in them days everything cost real money, I guess. That is not going to fit. So I think I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to put a big dirty big cable tie on there or something on the inside, and just, I could even cable tie that clamp grommet onto it or something, just so it can't be pulled back through. It's only for me. I wouldn't recommend doing this for any situation where this thing could be dropped off something or whatever and pull on the cord, because if it pulls on the cord, it can rip the whole cord out of the back of the unit, disconnect the ends, but leave live wires hanging around for some kid to touch or something, or electrocute your cat or something. So definitely make sure your cords are so well attached that you can basically swing the unit around by the cord and it'll never rip off, because otherwise, yeah, you could have some serious consequences. Can't say I've ever seen anyone do it, but I'm sure it's possible to do. Oh, I might get rid of that plastic sheathing as well while I'm at it. Since again this is only for me, and believe me, I'll be chucking this in the rubbish if I ever do get rid of it, or in the e-waste, making sure it gets destroyed one way or another, or yeah, cut the cord off it anyway, and then someone else can fix it properly. And the other one we want to do is join that one and this one. Can't really just get rid of the sheath off that. At least they double insulated it. I've got to give it to them. They were pretty safety conscious and did a good job. Probably worried about getting banned if they didn't do a good job, since people would have probably inspected these things back then. And I'll basically replace them with the same things. At least it's got everything hooked up. It's earthed again. If it was originally earthed, it's best to do it again, even though, to be honest, I doubt it would really matter. But the only thing I forgot to do is put my FM antenna around the power cord. Not sure there's much point, but I probably could wrap that around a bit. In case I wanted to pick up a bit of a signal, just to light those LEDs up. That I think I'll just poke out of sight, out of mind down there somewhere. I don't think I'll bother poking out the back. I might just chuck those grommets back in there. And I was going to do something, that's right, cable tie or something to stop it being yanked out. Can I clamp it to anything? If only they'd put a hole, actually they've got a hole in the back panel here, that's what I want. Oh, can I get through that? I can't get through that one, but that's probably enough. That's not really going to hold it that well, is it? But if I squeeze that in there, and then put another cable tie around it so I can't pull through that cable tie, that'll probably do it. At least I made a pretty good attempt. Yeah, do that nice and tight there. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I might see if I can tighten that one up a little bit more. Yeah, it's nice and tight. And the second cable tie is basically bit into it really well. And yeah, it's probably not going to pass national safety guidelines or whatever, but it won't go anywhere in a hurry. And just in case, again, like I say, that you know, if you've got this power cord somewhere up plugged into something and this unit drops, the full weight of it drops, it can't just yank it out and leave live wires on the end of the power cord because it got ripped completely out of the unit. And that's what that sort of thing is all about. Oh, the back goes on with this anyway, doesn't it? That's right. You've got to put this on before you put the back on. And the only other thing I want to do is take this tuning knob off. Gotcha. And that needs a scrub with a toothbrush, because that is filthy. I hope that's going to come off. I think it is, but reluctantly. That is very filthy. The problem with making knobs with that sort of finish on them, makes it easy to grip, but it also means it takes all the finger grease off your hands and dirt and stuff and sticks it to the knob. But with that cleaned up, it'll at least be back to its original kitsch glory. rather than it being filthy kitsch. But you've got to admire that knob. That's a pretty flashy knob. And they had their priorities right. It looks good on the outside, so it must be good. And to be fair, this actually is quite a good knob. It's actually made out of fairly solid aluminium, assuming a plastic insert, but that's got a surprising amount of weight to it. And at least it's not just plastic. And it doesn't actually look too bad. It's not as kitsch as the rest of this thing. That could actually be on a respectable unit and you wouldn't know any better. Like any respectable tuner with that knob on it wouldn't be too bad. So that I would definitely save off this thing. I quite like that. It's got a nice bit of brushed aluminium, solid aluminium. Nice bit of bling on this thing. Yeah, it looks a lot better than it did. And what was the other thing I was going to do? Oh, I was going to see if I could use some polish to get rid of those scratches. Another good thing to practice polishing on. Though who knows what it's going to do to the surrounding metal at the same time, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. Some of that is just dirt, I think, that's coming off at least. Yeah, some embedded dirt there. Try not to take these lettering bits off, but yeah, whatever that is well and truly damaged, I think, and there's a bit of a knot there. Yeah, some of these finer scratches seem to be being removed. I just hope I'm not messing up the lacquer on this thing. Because like I say, if you're going to have kitsch, it should be in its back to its former glory, like when it came out of the box. And a few scratches on the perspex as well, probably need a polish. And yeah, that end is just a bit beyond it, I think. Well, it's come up better than I expected for a kitsch unit. Still a little bit of muck there, isn't it? I wiped it off with my finger, I think. So yeah, unfortunately the scratches up the edge of the front there I couldn't get rid of completely. They're just a bit darker. I think they have actually come out a little bit lighter than they were. The perspex actually got rid of the big deep scratches in that, surprisingly. Well, it looked like deep scratches, but they can't have been that bad. But anyway, I'll put that on the tuner pile and see what I think. But mixed in amongst the other ones, and you don't see the horrible tacky wooden case, it probably isn't going to look too bad, to be honest. So I'll see how we go, and I think there's one more tuner in here that I can get to easily, so I'll have a look at that as well. Okay, well I lied about the other having just one tuner left. I found another one. This was the one that was actually from the place or pile of stuff that I got the Hitachi amp out of, and that rusty old Pioneer SX450, I think it was. So this is a JVC T-V3 by the look of it. Tuner-V3, I guess. I gave this a bit of clean up, but I missed a bit along the front there. So this looks to have at least a lamp on the tuning part. I don't know if it's got any lamps in the dial. I don't think it has, which is annoying because I was hoping it would have, but it doesn't look like it lights up all that well. I'll turn it on. So yeah, we definitely got a light in the top. I guess I should have hooked the actual audio up, would have been handy. But I'm never that organised. FM, so it's on, muting. It's always got the muting on. Nice stereo separation. I must say that picks up better than most of them. So that's one thing it's got. Oh, we do have a stereo light on the front here at the end. There we go. And the signal meter, well that's more, it's just FM tuning by the look of it, because it's flicking side to side. Yes, that's should zero out when I'm in the middle of the tuning right there. So maybe it's signal for AM, and we've got a green lit up pointer there. You can sort of see the light under if you look up high enough, but that's probably not too bad looking in when it's dark. Just a subtle sort of effect. And I guess we better check the AM. Again, I'll probably have to stick my hands on something. Oh, it's actually got, oh, it did have a, oh, look at that. I think we're missing, oh yeah, it's been ripped off. Just like I have, buying a thing and it doesn't have its AM antenna anymore, so I've been ripped off. Ooh, none of those actually do anything for the AM. What about when I, oh no, so the AM antenna came in up this red wire, which has now been ripped off, then the ground is a black wire, so one of these, oh yeah, AM, don't know, one of those should be your, I'm not hearing anything. Muting off. Don't think we've actually got to work an AM here. It says dead as. So that's interesting. Did we need some sort of connection there? Do we need a rod antenna on there to get AM to work? I wouldn't have thought so. But that is as dead as. It's just completely silent. Don't think I've ever heard a radio so dead. This is for the light. Nothing. That seems a bit more excessive than just a missing rod antenna. So I wonder if we've got an actual AM radio fault here. I doubt it's a selector switch, but I'll give that a squirt of contact cleaner anyway. Don't know if that's getting right in there, but give it a go. No, AM's as dead as. Interesting. Don't think we need to connect any of those together or anything, surely. Something there at least. I'm earthing that one. A little bit of noise, that could still be alive. Still really doing nothing. Seems awfully deaf. Well, there we go. Why does it now do something? I think that is going. There. It's a lot of volume to even get that. There's ZR, I think. I touched on the other end of that yellow wire, nothing. So maybe that's shorted to something? That doesn't make much sense to me. That's very weird, unless maybe that's the issue. Maybe we've got a short to ground out of what's left of those wires. Because that just makes zero sense to me. Not connected to anything yet. Just needs a longer bit of wire maybe. You even put that multimeter on lead on theirs. Crazy. Very weird. And now we're really amping it up a bit, even though it's got the volume way up. Oh, it's a bit annoying it doesn't light up, but I don't really care about AM not working, but it's just always interesting to see what's wrong with these things. But really I think it's just that broken antenna rod, so nothing much wrong with it at all. Yeah, nice. I was hoping this one actually would have had a lit up display or dial. Got a bit of rubbish in there. I guess I should really take the front off and clean it, but if it doesn't light up you're not going to notice anyway, so probably not a lot of point. But we've got one more to go, so I'll grab that one. That's a Yamaha, so that should be interesting to have a look at. And hopefully the last tuner I have lying around. Here's one of these Yamaha natural sound things, pilot tone and phase lock loop multiplex system. So just the same as every other tuner. Oh, a little red light and I can hear some hash. Muting doesn't make any difference. I guess we're not on FM. Oh, we've hit a dead spot. There's something in there. That's not a stereo light or signal level yet. There's some sort of, there's a few bits of broken plastic floating around in this thing. That LED hits that, whatever it is, and stops. Okay, that's an interesting one. How can we see what it is from here? What is that? It's another bit of broken plastic, I think. But for some reason it seems to be stuck. Here's another one. It's just stuck. Oh, there's a bit of double-sided tape where they've stuck the dial on. And that's just fallen on there and stuck to it. Oh, there's another one in there now. What the hell? You're telling me the other one just dropped into the exactly the same spot? Or is that the one that was stuck there before? I can't work it out. I'm sure the other one flicked off, but now there's another one. That's quite sticky, that. So I don't know, they're bits of the front panel maybe? Must be off the front panel, it's only a bit of black plastic in here. So hopefully now that moves. Well, I wasn't expecting a little thing like that to stop the whole tuner from moving. And I've got signal level and stereo. So yes, that's all lit up. Not very exciting, just a few LEDs there, 4 of them. But it sounds pretty good. Yeah, it seems to be okay. But not a very exciting one to look at. What have we got? LA chip, NEC chip, NEC chip. Quite a tiny little one. This is kind of like that Teac one. It's got a little tuner module with some stuff built on around it. And yeah, much smaller tuning gangs on this one. And the electronics has gone smaller as well, so this is more a 90s one anyway. And circuit board's quite small in it. So yeah, nothing particularly exciting. But quite a good tuner by the sound of it. And a bit more modern. And yeah, a bit more modern looking. It's a T-07 is the model number. I don't think I even took much notice. Made in Japan. But yeah, I think we're getting into the 90s from the look of this one. But she's all going, not surprising. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I don't find any more in the garage anyway. Well, I went looking for something else in the garage and I found, you guessed it, another tuner. This one was reduced down to $10, is why I actually ended up buying it. I still don't know why I really did, but being a more modern one, it's got some sort of sticky stuff all over the feet. Possibly because the old rubber on them's gone off. This is an Akai one, even has made in Japan written on the front. This would be a 90 one, so as I say, quartz lock, remote control capability. In other words, it probably comes via another unit, preset station, so at least it's an LCD one. That's actually got long wave as well, there you go. How useless is that? What is it? An AT-A102L. I vaguely remember these sort of Akai systems being around here. There's your remote control, so unless you've got the main amplifier or whatever, you ain't gonna be running this via remote. Because it don't come with the features, or at least the receiver, which makes sense in a way. This is that sort of era where there's a bit of a crossover, I guess, between component systems. This has still got all its plastic on it by the look of it, and sort of shelf systems. But it kind of made sense to have things like remote control receivers and stuff all built into the one unit and then wired into the rest of them. Back when remote receivers still cost some sort of money, I guess. So I guess we'll fire this up. Oh, it actually lights up. I was expecting it to not light up. I guess I'm so used to the lamps. So these all have a lamp, incandescent lamp behind the LCD display. This is much like the Sony's. It's even got the same 3-volt sort of battery in it. So you've got a CR2032 backup for memory. So that's still on 101.7, which is 7HO. So that's probably got a preset still in it after all this time, because they're just not a rechargeable battery. They're just like a watch battery. They're just lithium or whatever they were. And yeah, they just keep going for years and years and years till they finally go flat and you replace them with the solder-in tabs. But in the Sony tuners, which are actually the AM, FM stereo, so AM stereo as well, the two things that really went wrong with them was the lamp, although I think theirs might have been mounted on the circuit board, and your display would go out, and of course you'd lose your presets. So let's see what it's got in it. One channel, 102, I don't think that's anything, 102, so maybe it's just the last station it was tuned to. Oh, there's one, what's that? I know, 1039, that's nothing I don't think. Although maybe that is now. And that one goes to AM. There's a long wave. Can you even get anything on long wave anymore? Now, do we have... we've got the volume turned down. No, we've got some FM by the sound of it. Chances are it'll all work. Now, of course, we've got the slow tuning. Doesn't look like... Has this got a seek? Doesn't look like it's got even a seek to just tune through and find the nearest channel or next channel, so that's not a really good feature. Why you wouldn't have that? See if we can get 109, 100.9, nothing. Oh, we're in mono mode, are we? Oops. Maybe it does tuning in that mode. No. Surely they've got a way of doing it. Not getting anything. check the local channel. I'm not sure what frequency they're on though, that's the only problem. Guess I should really find out. I've been using so many old tuners, I haven't actually seen a frequency display. I don't think this thing's picking much up. And that's where the Teac tuning comes in handy, because it'll find the next station. You don't have to keep unmuting and listening for it. Well, there's something. It's got stereo on the display there. So it doesn't even have a stereo light as such. It's, for some reason when I lift that up the tuning goes bad. So let's band medium wave. Again, I can't remember what the frequency is at. 936 I think is one. .80. Well, apparently I don't make a very good antenna for this one, but it all seems to work. I guess the next thing is go memory 1 to 8. What do we do? Hold it. Yeah, it looks like you just press the button. I guess I should have stored that other one, shouldn't I? And oh, it goes right back. Can I go above? Please tell me how it goes back to 108. Because it starts right on 100 and something. Oh, sorry, 88. It's really annoying when they only go up. And there's no auto search, so this is a very slow one to tune. This is kind of typical of some of this later Akai stuff. Not very user friendly, a lot of it. Works alright when it's working, but no one really wants to sit around waiting for this to tune all the way through the band, and it doesn't even auto search. But I did find a lot of their later equipment not very user friendly. So not much point being made in Japan if you don't have that user friendliness. What was it? 88, 87.8 I think. And that was it. Only when no one's watching. But at least once you memorise it, that's AM 936, that's FM 87.8. Once you've got a couple in there, I guess it's not so far to tune, you can find something nearby. But yeah, not the greatest design. But yeah, it's just got the LCD display and the sort of orangey. This one's a bit more yellowy than usual. So just backlit display, not really much exciting about it, but yeah, you can sort of set your presets. I'll set a couple there. I was going to have a quick listen to long wave. I don't think you get anything on long wave these days, but maybe there's something out there. I don't think we ever picked up much. And the problem with this one, because you have to stop and listen to each frequency. So what does it go from? It goes from 146 kilohertz. Certainly picking up plenty of rubbish by the sound of it. I can't remember the last time I saw something with a long wave on it. 146 to it's so slow. Oh, something just flashed past. Is there something in the background there? Just some rubbish it's picking up. 351, 352 era, it seems to think there's something. That's the end of the band, 353. Yeah, so that's all my band. Oh, that doesn't like working in that position. But yeah, oh well, that's another one. So I forget how many tuners it is, must be around 6 of them or something now. Hopefully I don't find any more. Thanks for watching.